Who wants to talk about politics? Not me. No. I absolutely hate talking about politics. And I'm not just talking about government politics. I'm talking about politics of anything. You're probably like, what the hell do you mean politics about anything? I'm talking about video game politics, comic book politics, cartoon politics. Yes, this is a thing. Don't ask me how it is, but it is. And the reason why I don't like talking about politics is because everyone feels that you have to draw a line in the sand and you have to be on one side or the other. And you're not allowed to change that side, because if you change that side, you're a backstabbing traitor who molests children while touching the cat. If that makes no sense to you, good, you're sheltered. If it makes some sense to you, you're probably thinking how I'm thinking, and that might not be a good thing. But I digress. When you talk about politics with people, you just are running the risk of opening a can of worms to go in every direction, and it's like, it's so hard to find people that are willing to listen to both points of view and then make a decision. Now, the key example of this, we'll do two, for me at least. Two key examples of this are my friend Jay, who unfortunately I don't live near anymore, and I'm looking to visit again soon. We miss you, Jay. Hi. But yes, Jay, who's been in my videos, he is a very, I wouldn't say very political person, but he knows what he's talking about. I myself don't know a lot about government politics, but the thing between me and him is we're willing to listen to each other and change our views. A prime example was recently with the whole repelling of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Jay is greatly for it because he's a strong supporter of the LGBT community, as am I. But here's the thing. Jay supported it because of the whole marital status. And I agree. If you want to marry of the same sex or whatever, you should be allowed to. And you should be able to put that on record as your emergency contact, which wouldn't be allowed if Don't Ask, Don't Tell was in the state. But at the same time, I was actually against it. Even though I support the LGBT community, I was against it because I felt there were certain dangers that's actually still presented to the active military lesbian gay members. And it wasn't that I didn't want it to remain completely intact. I wanted it to be revised. As in, if you're legally allowed to marry the same sex, legally that should be who your contact is. Or hell, even if you're not married, you should be able to pick who your contact is in case of emergency. It doesn't have to be a family member. It can be a man, it can be a woman, it can be a child, just no questions asked. Like, hey, if I'm about to die, this is who I want to contact. And when Jay heard this from me, he saw my point of view and he kind of agreed with me, just like I agree with him. So we kind of met halfway there, even though, I mean, it's too late, it's already changed, but you know what I mean. It's like I always say, have an opinion, but be willing to listen to other people and be willing to change your opinion. Now, a not so government example is when me, Jay, and his wife were actually talking about, of all things, TV soundtracks. Or rather, TV sound effects. And we were arguing, well, not so much arguing, but we were trying to pick our top 5 sound effects from TV. What happened was, we couldn't pick 4 or 5 because there were just so many. But we eventually, me and Jay agreed, or semi-agreed, on the top 3. Which was, of all things, the Power Rangers tone as number 3. Number 2 was the sound from Transformers. And number 1 was the TARDIS from Doctor Who. Now, my argument was that the TARDIS would be number 1 because you could pretty much go to almost any part of the world that has a working television and there would be somebody who could tell you what that sound was. But then Jay's wife said I would disagree because if that were the case, then the number one sound effect of all time would be the laugh track. To which I had to step back and like, you know what, I can't argue that, so I'm going to have to agree with you. But the funny thing was that Jay actually said that, well, I know to his wife that she was probably pissing off a shit ton of Whovians at that point, but I had to respond like, well, Jay, I'm a Whovian, and I just agreed with her. To which he actually got that oh look on his face. So that is one of the few people, Jay and his wife, that I will talk politics with, whether it be silly politics or serious government politics, because when we talk, even if I don't know all the information, he's willing to share it with me, and I'm willing to share it with him. And after we're done sharing, we come to a middle ground. Whereas most people, well, this is the internet. You know what it's like trying to put your point of view out on the internet. You got better chance talking a brick wall down. Well, that's my thoughts on politics and why I prefer not to talk about them. So hopefully I got some of you to at least think about looking at other people's views. If not, well, I feel good about myself, so yeah, I could be full of myself sometimes. I'm sorry. Well, till next time, enjoy your lives. Pet some bunnies. It'll make you feel good. I have no idea what I'm talking about right now. Alright, later.